How's it going, everybody? And welcome to another episode of the Pursuing Greatness podcast. I'm your host, Gabe Peterson. This is the place where you can learn how to master your health, your wealth, and your love all in one place. So I hope you look forward to another great episode with another great guest. Before we get started, I do want to remind everybody that the best way to support the show is to simply subscribe, like, and share this episode with your friends. Also, if you want to get more involved with the show, check out our website at pursuinggreatnesspodcast.com. Other than that, I hope you guys enjoy. I hope you have your pen and paper ready to take some notes on some great wisdom coming your way. And I look forward to seeing you guys on the other side of the episode. All right, we are live. Today we have with us James Perryman. James is a coach, and he helps small business owners improve motivation, teamwork, productivity, and sales by giving them the self-awareness, confidence, and tools to unleash their potential. James, thank you very much for hopping on the show with me today. How are you doing?
I'm good. Thanks for inviting me. Yeah, and what a mouthful that is of a title. But as I hear you say it, I think that's exactly what I do, and I'm proud of it.
Nailed it. Nailed it. I love it. Great. Well, yeah, thanks for hopping on. To get us started, why don't you tell everybody, who you are, what you do, and how you got started down that path in the first place?
Of course. So I'm James. I run a business. It's called Momentous, and as Gabe said, it's all around helping small business owners become more self-aware. And it's not just about the business as a whole, but it's about leadership teams. It's about people who play significant roles within that business. And I love what I do. So why do I do it? Well, you know what? I've had a corporate career before I started my own business. I've been in a business. I know what it's like when you're lost, when you've lost your motivation, you've lost your mojo, and you've lost your ability to tell people about yourself, to get your message across, whether you're presenting at a team meeting, you're presenting to a big board of senior people, you're trying to have a one-to-one with someone. It's impactful when you aren't yourself. And I went through that journey. I went through a period about halfway through my corporate career where I was doing the wrong stuff. I was trying to be everything to everyone. And my body said to me, James, you can't do this anymore. Like, you've got to give up. You've got to change how you work, and you've got to become more self-aware. You've got to know when you're taking your stress levels too far, when it's impacting other people. And you've got to be able to talk. You've got to be able to tell people that you're struggling, and you've got to be able to tell people what you're trying to achieve. What are your ambitions? What are your goals? Why are you working like this? And it took for me a great coach at that time to kind of hold that mirror up and really help me through that. And that was my first experience of coaching. And as I went kind of through my career and changed a lot for the better through my career, and then ultimately left the corporate world, the business world, about 5 years ago, I knew that what I wanted to do was help people who were like me at that time and help them, just remove the noise. And there's that saying about you can't see the wood for the trees, but I really believe it, because sometimes you really can't see what's in front of you because you're clouding yourself, you're blinding yourself with too much. So that's why I do it. I love it, and I love the results, and I love those light bulb moments when people know what's going on, they get their potential, and they're full of energy, they're full of self-belief. It's a wonderful thing.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, I've been in that situation before myself, where it's just, you're in it so deep that you just can't see where you are, and you're like, you can't figure out the way out, even though it is relatively simple to do it. But you need that perspective in order to take the next step.
Completely.
So it sounds like, you really work on helping people become more self-aware, and the emotional intelligence side of things. So kind of take us through, when you let's say I'm a middle manager at a corporation, and I reach out to you, and I'm like, I'm stuck, I don't know what I'm doing. What is the process that you kind of take people through when you help them get their careers back and moving, and on to the next step?
Yeah, of course. So I think, as with any good coach, obviously that first step is about having a discussion with that person. So you and I would talk, typically, being kind of international, we would use something like Zoom or Skype to meet each other, to see each other, and for me to hear around what's going on for you, what's not going on for you, and to hear it in your words. I don't want you to write it down because I might misinterpret it. I won't get the tone, I won't get the energy, whether it's high or low. So I want to hear it from your voice and see you say it. And it gives you a chance to get to meet me, so that ultimately I know I can help you. I'm confident I can help you, and you are confident I'm the right person for you. And when we start that journey, then invariably with someone in that kind of position, middle management, a bit stuck, not sure what to do, then a form of self-assessment is the first step we would go through, because invariably that's what people need. They need to be able to see themselves, but through a different lens. And emotional intelligence is a great tool, because not only does it, for me, does it do a lot of things that well-known behavior and preference tools such as DISC and Insights do, but it adds another layer. It brings in very heavily the aspect about the impact you have on other people. And a tool that I use for emotional intelligence, that I'm kind of a qualified assessor and trainer in, looks principally at two levels. It looks at yourself, so your personal intelligence, and then it looks at other people, so your interpersonal intelligence. And it's on three levels. So the first level is about your self-regard and your regard for other people. So it's, as a real foundation, do you like who you are? Do you know what your values are? Do you know why you get out of bed to live every day, to go to work, to do the job you do? And do you have the ability to recognize that other people have that right as well? They have a right to have a purpose, to enjoy what they do. The second level then is around your self-awareness. So when you are feeling emotional, when you're in those fight or flight moments, are you aware of it? Can you sense it? Do you know that you're maybe about to make a bad decision? You're about to say something you regret? And similarly, do you recognize it in other people? And do you recognize the impact that you have on other people, positively and negatively? And the third level is then how you manage it. So when you've got good self-regard, you're very self-aware, and you see those moments coming up, or you even find yourself in a moment, have you got a really good ability to manage your emotions, manage what happens on the back of those emotions? And of course, then manage your relationships with people. And it might be the situation comes up and actually you're fine. You're not triggered. Your emotions haven't spiked, but you know it's going to happen to someone else because you know them, you're aware of them, you respect them, you've got regard for them, and actually you manage the situation for them so that it's good for them. And that split model of you and others over those three levels just opens so many doors to people. It opens their eyes, and the tool I use gives a bit of a traffic light report, and the red, amber, green around all those different elements, and it facilitates a conversation to say, right, before we go into the detail of the report and what it says, be prepared with it. And I can sit down with you and say, right, things that I've read in the report make me think that maybe you've had some experiences in the past where you've been let down by people. You've been promised things and it's not come to life. If that's right, talk me through what happened. Talk me through how you felt at the time. What did it do for relationships? What did it do for your self-confidence, your self-esteem? And it helps me test that I've interpreted the report in the right way. And it helps then ease you into the process of going through the report. And the report can be on three levels. It can be a high-level snapshot, which often is really good. It can be the other extreme, which is a really full executive level report where it goes into a lot of detail. And that's great for more senior managers. But the ideal answer for middle managers is the development report that sits in the middle. It's got a good balance of giving high-level messaging that you understand with some of the granularity in the detail. And we just work through that report bit by bit, because if there's 5 or 6 development needs that come out of that report and that conversation with me, I wouldn't want you to go ahead and try and work on all 5 or 6 at once, because that's just too much. I want to break it down into the ones that you believe in, that you recognize are the areas that you need to really strengthen, and that you can pick them off. And as you start improving, actually, you go on that journey, and it makes things a lot easier as we go. And that's really the starting point. And it's easing people into that self-awareness, that understanding of emotional intelligence. I think it's still relatively new in business, but people are warming to it more and more. They're recognizing that it is something to learn from and to embrace.
Yeah, absolutely. Self-awareness is, especially when it comes to meetings. So I did corporate for 7 years. I was in management consulting, and I noticed there were some people who they didn't understand that they were in a room with other people, and it could be frustrating. So how do you recommend people, first identify that they lack self-awareness, and then how would you help them increase their self-awareness?
So I think if we take that example of a middle manager, I would bring to life examples that I know most middle managers would have to go through. So it might be having a tricky one-to-one with one of their team, someone who's underperforming. So how do they approach that conversation? How do they feel during the conversation? And what does it look like at the end? How are they feeling and how's the other person feeling? Talk about scenarios where they've maybe got to present to their boss, which typically might then be someone at a more senior level, and quite senior in the organization. I talk to them about what most people are doing in middle management, and that is working far too long and probably on the wrong stuff. So they're getting in early. They're doing stuff at home before they get to the office. They're staying late. When they're home, they're not really present at home because they're on the phone. They're just having a quick look at emails. They're quickly just following up on stuff, and that trips into the weekend. And then the quality time with their partner, with their kids, with their friends, wider family is just being impacted. And I know they're the kind of example of 3 different things that typically middle managers in this situation will go through. And so I'll just get them to talk me through them using their own words. And again, that helps with them having those light bulb moments. And they go, yeah, do you know what? Every time I have to have a difficult conversation with someone, I crumble, I get nervous beforehand, I don't prepare well. I go into the conversation and I'm very confrontational because I'm feeling defensive, when actually I know the person I'm speaking to, I know I need to take a different approach with them, and I just don't stop and think about it. And I help them then think, right, so how would you prepare? How would you think about the person you've got to speak to? What do they need to hear? How do they need to get feedback from you? How do they need to get praise from you? How can you manage your emotions beforehand? And what do you need to do afterwards? Do you need 10 minutes to walk around the building to get some fresh air, let your heart rate come down, let your stress levels come down, and so on? And help them put mechanisms in place, processes in place to manage some of those situations, and put them into practice and see the difference it makes.
I love it. So it sounds like, when it comes to how do you increase your self-awareness, it sounds like, for your processes, a lot of it comes with reflection in conversation. So you're basically in the conversation dealing with specific situations that were emotionally charging for them. And then them kind of reflecting on that and being like, crap, you're right. I didn't, it primes me. It gets my emotions going high, and kind of reflecting on it and figuring out what areas you need to deal with. Does that sound about right?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And where people have gone through those experiences, that's even better because they know them, they can relate to them. Where people maybe are doing something new because they're on a bit of a journey, they're on a career journey, and it might be that they're going for an interview. It might be they've got an opportunity to present to the board of the company, and it's a big thing. That self-awareness is really key, of kind of visualizing that situation, visualizing how you'll be feeling 5 minutes before you go into the interview. How will you be feeling 5 minutes before the agenda slot says, right, Gabe, it's your turn now. You're going to present to us. And your heart's racing, you're sweating, and all those things help you think they're going to happen. So think about what you're going to do when they're happening, because then when they do, and you've thought about it and practiced it and visualized it, it won't feel alien, and you'll be ready for it. And you'll be, yeah, right, I'm ready for this presentation. Let's do this. Let's make it happen. Rather than you start and your voice wobbles and you're sweating and everyone's trying not to look at you and so on.
Yeah, absolutely. I used to compete in jiu-jitsu, and I used to tell myself that I'd just stand in the fire. And every time I'd go up to it, I'd just be like peeing my pants, but I'm like, all right, I'm doing this. Let's do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I love it. I love it. So going forward, so you've been running your business, it sounds like, about 5 years now. You got some good traction. Where do you see, are you a one-man show, or are you looking to build your business into a team, and et cetera?
So the business is growing. So literally right at the moment, I've got a partner who's coming in, who's left a long corporate career as a very senior leader, so kind of director level in one of the big telecoms companies over here. And she brings a wealth of experience of executive mentoring, but also customer experience. And that's an area that I play in also, because I think, as well as being aware of yourself, aware of your impact on other people, businesses have customers. You need customers and clients to sustain your business. So you need to know how to talk to them. And if you're having a really crappy day, crappy journey into work, coffee machine's broken, the restaurant is shut, you've stubbed your toe on while you were getting dressed, You can't bring that to a customer when you speak to them. You've got to bring your A game on. It's got to be the best conversation you have. So how do you talk to customers? How do you create great experiences for them? And so her coming in is going to really solidify the experience side of things. So it'll be really clear how, as a business, Momentous works with businesses, but also individuals, those middle managers who are seeking our support directly rather than, through a coaching program in their business. So that's the next stage of growth. And we've got people we know who we've worked with in our own corporate careers who have said, guys, if ever we could work for you, we would love to. So we're seeing that this is laying the foundations then to bring more people in as associates, as consultants, who knows, maybe as employees.
Awesome.
Who knows what the future brings.
Yeah, for sure. Well, best of luck. I mean, it sounds like you guys are having some great results for your clients. So that's great. Do you get a lot of people from who, we've used the middle manager example, who needs to be more self-aware and wants to improve their career. Do you get a lot of people who are looking to make the jump into entrepreneurship at all, and then do that type of coaching?
I do, and I've got a couple of clients at the moment, kind of just personal clients who are doing exactly that. They're, and particularly obviously with what we've been going through globally with COVID and a lot of people whose jobs have been impacted, they've chosen to leave, or they've just been, the situation has forced that they don't have a job anymore. And they've made that decision. I don't want to go into another company. I don't want to be an employee. I want to be my own boss. And I was there, and I didn't know what I didn't know. How do you start a business? How do you create a name? How do you create a brand? How do you get customers? How do you go out and pitch? All of these things you've not had to do before in the main. So I do help people go through the journey I've been through by sharing the knowledge that I have of having gone through it, but also sharing the highs and lows and making sure that they go back to what are they really good at. And typically in a corporate career, you invariably do the stuff that you're good at. It plays to your skills, but to some extent, often we're doing things that don't motivate us, don't excite us. We just do them because they're part of the job description that we've been given, or the job description that transformed a year ago. Whereas when you're an entrepreneur, it's in your gift to shape your business and to do exactly what you love doing. So you're never in a job. You're just doing what you're passionate about, and you're living to your values. And that you can choose not to be on your email at 7 a.m. You can choose to knock off at 1 o'clock and go to the park and play football with the kids. Whatever it might be, it's a different lifestyle. It has different stresses. It has different highs and lows, and they are different. But, for me, I think the highs and lows are worth the rewards of being a business owner. And I love helping people have that determination and strength of character to say, I'm going to give this a go. And invariably, people who have been let go, they've either come away with a bit of a financial package, or they've been ready for it and they've put some savings away, and they've got a window of opportunity. They've got 3 months, 6 months, a year to say, right, if I can't nail this, okay, I've maybe got to go back to another corporate career, but I'm going to give it a shot. And so I need to be the best I can. I need, my social profile, my business profile to be hot. I need my consulting CV to be really good. And I need that ability to stand up straight when I go to a networking meeting, when I go to a prospective client, and wow them and get my message across first time. And that's where I help them.
Awesome. I love it. Yeah. And it is surprising, once you do make the jump, how many things you don't know that you just kind of pop up and you're like, crap, I forgot I need to do this.
Someone else always took care of that.
Awesome. Well, hey man, we're at the end of the episode here. They go by super quick. Before we close out though, I got some fast questions for you.
Okay.
I always start out with books. I'm a big bookie. And so the question I got for you is, if you could choose or do 2 recommendations, one for the topic you're talking about, it could be either leadership or business, and the other for just general life wisdom, what recommendations would you give?
So the first question, I think the one I would give, and I might get the title wrong, but I know the authors. I think it's called The Art of Body Language, or The Power of Body Language, and it's by Alan and Barbara Pease. And it's such an eye-opening book, all about body language. And it's amazing when you read it, then you look at it and go, I can see that. I can see people doing this stuff, and I know what it means. I know when it means they're liking me. I know when it means they're not liking me. So that's one book. From a life lessons, a book called The 5 People You Meet on the Way to Heaven. I can't remember the author, but the story is about a guy called Eddie at a fairground. He dies in a tragic accident, and the story is about the 5 people who've had the most influence on his life. And it's brilliant, and it really makes you think, who have I got around me that is a big influence for me? And if I haven't got them, who do I need around me?
Interesting. I like that. The 5 people you meet on the way to heaven. I'll have to check that one out. Next question. Habits are the foundation of our life. And so I always like to ask, what is the habit that contributes the most to your success?
For me, it is about waking up every day and taking stock of the day. So I'm very planful. So I will always end the day making sure I'm really clear what the next day looks like and maybe the rest of the week. But I might have had a really bad night's sleep. I might wake up and see an email that says, James, we've got an urgent need for something. We need you on it. We need it by lunchtime. And that affects the plan for my day. So I always begin the day by saying, right, what's happening? What am I doing? How am I feeling? What's the 2 or 3 things I want to achieve today? Anything extra is a bonus. But I think you've got to start the day right, and you've got to wrap the day up in such a way that you feel you've completed it and you're ready for the next one coming.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah, I every night before I go to bed, I choose 3 things that I want to accomplish the next day. Because if I don't, I get into the day and I just start doing random shit. Like it's just it's like, why did I spend 5 hours doing on this little web page over here? But I love it. So all right, next one. If you could go back to James, who is let's say just getting started in Momentous, just left your corporate job, and you're just going out into the field, and give that James one piece of advice moving forward, what would that be?
It would be, don't wait until you think everything is in place and perfect. It will be perfect enough.
Absolutely.
People are forgiving.
Yep. I agree. Just do it, man. Just get out there. Yeah. I've waited way too much in my life, so you're right. Just get it done. Get the minimum viable product out there, and you'll eventually it'll improve, and you'll have a final product, years from now.
Totally.
Next question. Favorite quotes. I love quotes and words of wisdom. You don't have to. If you don't know it by heart, this is kind of a hard one to ask because, having a whole quote in your mind is difficult. But if you could just give your favorite, word of wisdom, what would that be?
I think I'm gonna give some words of wisdom from my late father, who, as I was kind of going through that corporate career, that middle manager phase, and questioning, when should I leave? When should I be an entrepreneur? And he always said to me, you'll just know when the time is right. Your gut will tell you, don't rush it, but you'll know. And when you do know, then just go for it. And his other motto was, if you don't ask, you don't find out. No matter what, don't make an assumption. Don't assume someone will say no. Don't assume they won't like you. Don't assume that the answer's not there, at the other side of a question. Just ask and you'll find out.
Yep. I love it. Trust your gut and just ask. Those are great words of wisdom to live by. Awesome. Well, hey, I know there are plenty of people who are watching this who appreciate everything that you shared, and they want to get in contact with you. So what is the best way for them to reach out to you?
Best way is probably on LinkedIn. Search for James Perryman. You'll see a photo that looks remarkably like me, looking now. If not, check me out on the website. It's www.momentous, which is momentus.uk.com.
There you go, momentous.uk.com, or James Perryman on LinkedIn. I will put his URL and the LinkedIn URL as well in the show notes. So if you'd like to reach out to James, go down there and click through.
Fantastic. Thank you.
Awesome, James. Again, thanks for coming on. For everybody who's here on this journey with us today, thank you guys for showing up. We appreciate having you here with us today. Again, the best way to support the show is just to subscribe, like, and share with your friends and family. Other than that, I hope you guys have a great week, and I look forward to seeing you on the next episode. Thank you guys for sticking with us on another episode of the Pursuing Greatness podcast. I hope you got a lot of value out of that guest. Again, the best way to support the show is just to subscribe, like, and share with your friends and family. Also, check out pursuinggreatnesspodcast.com if you want to get more information about what we do and what we offer. I hope you guys have a great day and keep living in integrity with yourselves. And I look forward to seeing you on the next episode coming shortly.